Former President George H.W. Bush is bald. Have you seen these pictures yet this morning? He shaved his head this week, and it was in support of the son of one of his security agents. The 2-year-old is battling leukemia. And then check out the entire security detail, all of whom apparently went bald, or were previously. I joke. I think they all went bald. 60 years ago, you may not know, but the Bushes lost their own 4-year-old daughter, Robin, to leukemia. So certainly knowing that this little guy was sick with it probably struck Mr. Bush in the heart. Jim McGrath is the one who first tweeted the pictures of a bald President 41. So he is the president's spokesperson and is kind enough to be up early and on the phone with us. So Jim, good morning.
Good to be with you, Robin.
Hey, you too as well. So tell me, how did the idea get started?
Well, it got started really with the President's Secret Service detail. Patrick's father is one of the members of the detail. He unfortunately was diagnosed, as you indicated, with leukemia earlier this spring, and he started some treatments a couple of weeks ago. And I'm sure your audience is familiar with the effects of some of those cancer treatments. He ended up losing his hair. And just in the show of solidarity with Patrick and with Patrick's father, a member of the detail, other Secret Service agents decided to shave their head to show their support, and it just kind of picked up momentum. And when 41, or President Bush, caught wind of it, he was certainly going to not show his support. He was game. He volunteered. So, 2 days ago, he ended up shaving his head. Yesterday, Patrick was at Walker's Point, and we took that picture together that you just showed, and it's just
so
vintage George Bush.
Yeah, it is so heartwarming, isn't it? So, do you know, were you there? Did Patrick have a little reaction? In other words, what was his reaction when he saw everyone else bald?
Well, he's 2 years old, and I've got a 2-year-old, so they're not fully aware of everything going on around them and who this nice man in the wheelchair was who shaved his head in solidarity. But I can tell you the Western world is familiar with it today, with Patrick and his cause today, and the outpouring of support that the families received has just been overwhelming for them.
I imagine that it means so much to that family. So did the haircutting thing, was it kind of like a ceremonial thing that would happen at Walker's Point? Would people come there, the security detail, and go, okay, your turn today? Was it all at once?
It did kind of build in that way. And if you work in an office, things kind of go through the office, and that's how it started with the Secret Service detail. And then a member of President Bush's staff said, well, if somebody gives Patrick's fund $500, I'll shave my head. And Barbara Bush was the one, I think, to volunteer to pay that $500 so Coleman, who's a member of President Bush's staff, would shave his head. President Bush caught wind of that and said, hey, if you shave your head, I'll shave my head, and we're all going to show our support for Patrick. So it's just a wonderful, heartwarming story based on the reaction to it, and I think we could use it in light of some of the other news stories you're working on today.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And do we know how much money was raised in the end for Patrick's fund?
It's still an open fund. The treatments are ongoing, and the fund is still up at that website, patrickspals.org. So the family didn't go into this looking for all this attention, but when a former president gets involved, it's kind of hard to avoid the attention. So a lot of good is coming out of it.
Well, tell 41, Mr. Bush 41, that we said hello. And if he wants to get on the phone and talk about it, we'd be happy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll let him know the open invitation.
All right, Jim. Thank you. Appreciate it.
He'd do it for you, Robin. You jumped out of a plane with him, what, 5 years ago? He'd do it for you.
Yeah, about 4 years ago, wasn't it already, that we jumped out of a plane? Because he's 89 now, and he was 85 at the time.
Yep,
yeah, wasn't that sweet? Oh, my gosh, I didn't know you had this tape.
I didn't either. There you go.
Well, that's him with the guy that he tandem jumped with.
That's
I think
right.
his name is Mike, if I remember correctly. Yeah, look at that. So, a guy just with a big heart, and certainly we hope that little Patrick's family is heartened by this as well and know that Patrick will get better.